everyone, Annie from Stamp Anniething, and today we have something new to show you. So I am going to show you a couple of our newest stencils that just debuted and were just released a few days ago. These are builder stencils, not your traditional just one-piece stencils. These are layering builder stencils to make a scene and whatnot. So we have one that is the Planet Space Builder, which I will demo. A string of lights for the holidays that are coming. Fall and acorns for fall that is coming. And then a candy corn background builder. So we are going to go ahead and demo some of these for you today. And I'm just going to start with the simplest one so you guys can get an idea of how the builder stencils work. We do have several others on our website that we have been doing over the course of this year. So if you are interested in some of the other ones that we do have several different ones that create different scenes like the beaches, the mountains, a cityscape. So we do have quite a few. These are just our most recent ones that we just came out with. I'm not going to be making a full-on project. I'm just going to show you how the stencil builders actually work and get put together. Okay, so we're going to start with the string of lights builder. And as you can see, there's several different layers. You have your string, your sockets, the socket caps, the actual light bulbs, and then there's a little highlight. The first thing you want to do, and if you stack, you start to take them one at a time. So if you were to first take the string with the loop going down, and then take your socket layer and layer them together to make sure that they're lining up correctly. Because if you don't put them correctly, you're going to end up with your lights not all hitting your string. So you just want to kind of prep before you start, because then you can always take a Sharpie marker and label them 1, 2, 3, and 4, up in the corner. And then the next layer was going to be the caps that go on them, which goes on the top part of the sockets. And again, you can kind of see it as you're layering everything on top, because you can see through your little stencils here. And then your light bulbs, and then your highlights. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab a Sharpie marker really quick, like I said, and I'm just going to make a note on them for myself for my future reference. So I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, some of our builder stencils are built the same way, that they should be layering in one direction, but I have seen people that have done them out of order, or they've layered them staggeredly in a different way, and that's fine too, because then you just get a whole completely new look to your project, which is awesome. So don't always just be limited by, how I just said you have to use all of these stencils, because it's not necessarily true. So I'm just going to now prep for my paper here, like so. Okay, we should still be on screen. Okay, so now I have my level 1, and I am just going to lightly pencil. Again, this is just for a demo. Obviously, if I was making a project, I would, position it to exactly where I want it to be. But for demo purposes, I just made that border so that I know where to stack all of my colors as we start going. And I'm going to start with a dark green, because the string usually is a dark green on your Christmas lights, so it blends in with your trees. So we're just going to quickly go ahead and ink that. And I would, if you have the pixie spray for that little part of the circle there, so it doesn't wiggle around too much, so it doesn't get shifted and blurred with your stenciling. But then you go ahead, and now there is your line for your strings. And now I'm going to go in and do my socket. So again, I'm just going to layer the top with my pencil marks and then also shift it, you know, so that this one is where I want it to be on my string. And just play around with that. And then go back in and start putting in my little sockets for my tree lights, like so. And if you keep blending it, eventually you'll get the two greens to actually match in the color, if you're using the same color, obviously. But you can change this to be black or brown, whatever you want your sockets to be. Okay, and there we have our sockets for our Christmas lights. And now we're going to go in with the socket caps. So again, I'm lining it up with my pencil marks, and then they're going to line up perfectly on top. And I'm going to still use the same ink, but now I'm just going to apply it so it's much darker, so it will look like an extra layer. Hopefully, probably should have done it, started with a lighter green. You know what, let's switch it. I'm gonna go switch to, hold on, let me get a different color brush really quick. And I will do it in maybe like a gray tone or a brown. Here I have brown out, so I'll do it in like a brownish color, just so I can get, so you can see where it's two different layers of color there. Oops, I moved that. Just so it will have that extra look of layer and dimension on your card project. Oops. And of course, I would have either pixie sprayed or taped down my stencil while I was doing this. Okay, let's see. All right, so now we have, you know, our different little sockets, which works out perfect. And now we get to do our cute little lights. So again, I'm just going to line them up. And I'm going to do these in a couple of different colors, just like regular old Christmas lights come in many colors. Let's put the cap back on that one. So we'll do some reds. Let me get my red brush. Okay, so let me just line this all back up again, how I want it to be. So we're going to do a red light there. And maybe this one will be red as well. And then this one maybe down here. And I would use a smaller brush, or I would make sure I mask my paper on the edge here so as to not get the ink all over. And there's our red lights. And now let's go and add in maybe some orange. Orange lights are always fun and pretty. So now we're going to just, again, put our stencil back up on here. And let's stencil in a nice orange light here and an orange light there. Maybe we'll do one more here. And then our last color, let's do maybe some yellow. Got a yellow brush. Thought I took out a yellow brush. Okay, well, let me get out my yellow ink. Put the green back on here. Let's get our yellow. Grab a yellow brush. I mean, and you can do as many colors as you want. You could do blues. You could even do these for Halloween. You know, Halloween has lights too. People do the beautiful purple, orange, and green lights at Halloween time. So you can even make this on a Halloween card. So there's our Christmas lights. And you could stop at this point if you wanted, but if you wanted to really kick it up a notch, you can actually add the little highlights as well. If you were to do this, there's different ways you can do it, because obviously you'd probably want to do the highlight in white. If you do not have a white pigment type ink, you could use a colored pencil, or you could use a gel pen, or you could even, I know these are kind of small, but you could even do an embossing technique on it. I'm going to just show you how you could do it with a gel pen. So here is, what? Let me start my gel pen. Here we go. So you can go like this with your gel pen. Okay, or if you have colored pencils, you can also go in with your colored pencils, whichever you want to do for your highlight. For me, it looks like the colored pencil is what's going to work best on this. And again, I'm going to show you how to do it with embossing, but on the candy cane one, because these are actually a very small section, and I don't think it would play off as well. But there you go, and now you even have your little highlights. So just imagine if you highlighted your background even more with some inks to make it, more Christmassy. But that is basically the String of Lights builder die. So super, super easy. It's a very fast one. And like I said, you just layer everything on top, and it's easy to see where everything goes. So now let's move on to our next our next stencil, which is the Leaf and Acorn builder. And this was a fun one. Makes a nice background for your stamps. Okay, so this one comes just in the two pieces. You have the veins and the tops of your acorns, and then you have your leaves and your acorns. Now, obviously, you can do this one in many different ways. You can do it in very nice earth tone colors, where this is going to be all browns. So it's going to be a dark brown for each of the acorn toppers, plus a dark brown on all of the veins of your leaves. And then on this one, you can do your acorns in a light color, and then your leaves, you can actually color blend them with reds and yellows to get them to look more like a fall leaf. And that is what we are going to do. So I'm just going to grab another small card base here. We're just going to go ahead and put it down for our blending that we're going to do. So I'm going to use the base part first. And this one you don't really have to mark, because when you grab, after you ink blend this, you're just going to lay it on there, and you're going to see like, okay, that one fits into the leaf. But if you want to, there is room in the corner that you could go ahead and also just put that down. I am going to tape my stencil down a little bit on this one here, so it doesn't move around too much. Because this one, I want to add a couple of different variations to the colors to make them look like fall leaves. So I'm going to start with my lightest color, which is my yellow, and I'm just going to hit up on the leaves in different various places, and I'm going to use pressure with my finger on certain areas to make some have a darker part of a yellow, as to some I want to have more of a buttery feel, and that's just because, like with leaves, they do have the variations of the color. So I'm just using, like I said, the different pressure in different areas of where I want maybe to have a little bit of more of a golden yellow as opposed to a lighter yellow. And then we're going to hit it up with some some orange and even some red in there. Okay, so that is just our first layer with our yellow. And now I'm going to go in with some orange, and I'm just going to ink blend certain areas around. I'm not filling the whole entire leaf to have orange on it. And this is just you can do them completely solid colors if you want, but I just want them to look more like an actual fall leaf with the variations of the colors on there. So that is my orange. And now lastly, let's add some red in here. And again, I'm not going to go and hit up the whole thing, just gonna hit up certain areas to add a little bit of a red tone as well to these fall leaves, like so. And then before I'm done, I want to go ahead and add in my brown for my acorn. And for that, I am going to use, let's see, I think I have my pecan. I have this light birch color. Let's see how that will work. I'm not sure if it'll be, oh yeah, actually this is a very good color for the acorn because it's like a lighter tan. So I'm just hitting up these little areas with the lighter brown. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to be able to take that off. Look at the pretty the leaves, they look great. And now we're going to be able to go and put our toppers on. So now it's just a matter of lining up which goes on them. So let's see. Again, I probably should have done it with, you know, on a bigger sheet of paper before I cut it down. That way I can tell where I want everything. I like using the pencils to just help me figure out where I'm going. All right, and now I'm going to go in with that darker brown to add in my veins and the tops to the acorn. So it gets, and I'm not going to go where, I don't think I want to go hard on the veins of the flower, the leaves, because they're not like a dark vein on leaves. They're just the veins, so you don't want to go too dark, but I do want to go dark on my acorn tops. So I'm going to just use different pressure on my leaf veins. And then if I find when I pull this off that I did it too light, I can always put my stencil back on, which is awesome, and go back and add more. And let me grab, I should have a smaller brush. Yeah, here's my smaller brush. So I can just hit the acorns with that darker coloring here, because I just want those to be darker. So we're just going to continue, and you'll be able to see, and you, like I said, I would probably then go and I can even ink blend a different color background underneath this to get in more fall colors. I would probably even get some gold pearly paints and pearl sprays and add that in just to make that whole fall and golden color tone really come to life for my project here. Okay, so now let's just hit up some of these acorns. Again, just making them as a little bit darker. And again, we can always, like I said, if you find that you didn't go dark enough, you can just always put the stencil back on. But there you go. Look at how gorgeous that turns out. I mean, and then you can just always take a bigger blending brush and, you know, frame it in more. But that is how simple the stencil builders are to use, which makes it fast and easy to go ahead and get certain looks that you want. Okay, our next one is the planet builder. This one is a little bit more, I don't want to say complicated, but this one has more layers. This one is already going to be numbered for you. on your stencil, so you'll know the way the pieces are going to form with your background. Then start adding in your planets, like your rocks and everything, your darker colors for the layers, and then your highlights. So this one's a really fun one. I think I need to cut a bigger sheet of paper. So let me just grab that really quick for you guys so we can put this one together. Okay, let me just add some tape to my background here. Oops. So that it doesn't shift as we do it. This one is tons of fun, you guys. All right, so I'm going to start with my stencil number 1. Okay. And I am actually going to also take my pencil. I didn't cut my paper correctly, but that's okay. You'll be fine when you're doing yours, because that part would probably end up getting trimmed off of your slim line anyway. But there is basically, so I know where I'm going to put it. And what we're going to do is I am going to do these in different shades of like purples and grays. So let me grab my purple brushes. Purple. I need to find my big blending brush so it'll go a little bit quicker than these smaller ones. So just bear with me. There's my brown. Okay, let's see. Oh, I got a pink one. Pink might work good with some of these colors as well. Red. Where's the purple? There's purple. All right. So let me get rid of this one here. And I have more than one shade of purple in my inks. And then I'm going to need this gray one as well. So let me just grab these out really quick. So we have them. Since I'm not really sure which color I'm going to actually blend out. Oh, and you know what? Let me grab that hot pink one too, because that one might ink really good in like the planet structure on the top area. All right, so take this yellow one off. Let's just get some of our purples on here. For starters, purple, maybe even the lighter purple. Oops, this stencil. Oh, this sticky pad is no joke. Super, super sticky. All right, so here we go there. I'm going to grab out my purple palm brush, which... And I'm going to put down my first layer, you know, and I'm going to actually layer it so I know for later I'm going to keep the top part flushed. Like I said, I didn't cut a big enough piece of paper, but you would be able to do that. But most of the time you are going to end up cutting that off of your project when you trim it down to fit. So let's just get this. I should have been using my magnetic board, which would have made more sense, but I wasn't thinking. Okay, here we go. So we are going to start it, and I am going to do it in a lighter purple to begin with, and I'm going to build up the layers. And the reason why I'm doing the bottom layer in the lightest is because we are going to be putting layers on top of our little planet here. And if we started with our darkest color, you're not going to actually be able to see them as well. So we always want to start building out with some of our lighter colors first. This is a very big opened area of a stencil, so you do want to make sure that it's not going to shift. Again, if you have the pixie dust spray, I would suggest you use that. And then I think just for fun, it would be really cute to add a little bit to give the planet that's going to be forming in the back. I'm going to add some pink in there too. So, I mean, it's going to have more depth when we get into our other layers, but I do like mixing colors together. Okay, so that is our first layer for our planet builder. So we can go ahead and remove that. And now we want to get layer number 2. Okay, so here is layer number 2. And you can see it's going to go right on top of that planet part there. Okay, so you're going to start adding in, like I said, that depth. So I'm going to move and switch on to my next darker color in my purple to start adding in the part of the crater that's going to be in this little planet. And then I'm going to go and also add here, which is pretty awesome because now you're going to get 3 layers of colors as you're building it, but you just want to make sure that you're hitting the cusp part because that is going to be where that new layer look comes from in that next part of the stencil. So you do definitely want to make sure you're hitting that up so you get that line and then just kind of fade it coming down like so. And that is layer 2, as you can see there. Pretty cool. And now we're going to go into our layer 3. So here we go with layer 3. Oh, give me back my tapes here. And again, you can see where it is lining up. Okay, and I think we'll do these in the next. Well, you can still continue in the color, but I'm going to go into my next purple. Really get in there this time with the purple. And then down here, it's my next layer on the planet surface. And I should have actually cut it because now you're going to miss some of the details in that moon area later, but we'll see. Okay, so now we have this. And then because we have some white area in there, I'm just going to blend it a bit together, like so. And then here comes more of our little details for our planet. And so the surface, you know, where they are walking on. And I'm actually going to use the same color that I had just done, but I'm just going to hit it up and darken it. And it's going to just create some fun texture. And see, now you get like the dimples that are normally on a planet, which I think is pretty cool. And then what I'm going to go back and do is I want to make my planet not match exactly the one that's in the background. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to put on my masking tape again. And it's easy to line it back up exactly how you want because you already have your ink down. But what I'm also going to do is grab another piece, kind of start to mask off this as well, kind of in a circle-y pattern. And this is just my own personal preference, just so I want to put a little bit of a gray tone in there, just to get a little bit of a different hue for that planet in the background. I mean, you can play around with these, and again, with smaller brushes. And I'm just gonna hit it up with this gray. It's a lighter gray. Maybe add some blue in there and some other colors, but I just want it to not be the exact colors of what was in there. I thought I brought out a blue. Let me grab my blue brush. This is a very dark blue. And I'm just doing that to differentiate my moon from my planet to be a little bit different, like so. But how cool, you would cut it. You have your little spaceman and a space. You can even go ahead and if you wanted to, if you ink blended your background to a really dark, I would probably use distress inks on the sky part. That way you can really get the water drops in there as well. I would do this part first so you're not going over all of the inks that you just did. But you can see how you can create a really cool planet looking surface for any of your alien type projects that you might have out there. So that is the Space Planet Builder die. And now, last but not least, is our Candy Corn Builder die. I'm sorry, stencil. Keep saying die, they're stencils. So let me just, this one I believe is the 3 layers. Okay. So we have the 3 layers. You have the solid part for your candy corn, the center part, and then your tip part. Ideally, the tip is going to be the white of your candy corn, and there's just, you couldn't make this that I was going to do it in white, so I had to kind of think on how we're going to do that, but that's why I said it'll be really fun. You can do it with colored pencils. If you do have a white ink, then yours is going to work just fine. But for those of us that don't, I have one. I just don't know where it is. But these are going to layer the same way. They're not numbered, but you can go ahead and number them. So what you're going to do is you're going to find which piece. That's your center. So the bottom is going to be your yellow, because this will then be your orange layer for the center. And then the top, is it this way? And then the top piece, yeah, that would be your white. So again, I'm just going to grab, where did I put my pen? My Sharpie. And I'm just going to put in the corner so I know for my own sanity later, that's my 3, this is my 2, and this is my 1. Okay, and now I'm going to just go ahead, let's go ahead and put down our piece of paper. Once again, I'm going to grab my 1, and I'm just for our, for ease sake, I'm just going to make mine so it is layered, flushed at the top, so it'll be easy for me to line up the next part when we are ink blending. So here we go, just putting down that stencil. So our first we only need is yellows and oranges here. And let me grab my bigger brushes so it goes faster of my yellow and my orange. There's my orange. And yellow. Okay. So this layer is your yellow layer. And you don't gotta ink blend the whole entire candy corn. Just really want to get those edges pronounced with your yellow. Hold on, I can't open my brush container. Hold on. Let's see. Seriously? Always when you're on camera, something goes wrong. Should be used to it by now, but it always happens. Let's see if I can grab, there we go. Got it with a pin. Okay, so we're going to start, like I said, just starting with my yellow. And I really just want to make sure that I'm hitting at least the bottoms the most to get these started. Again, be really cool. You can use any kind of inks that you have. These are our hybrid inks, so I don't really have to do much guessing. I mean, and if you had an image down here, maybe you don't want to go all the way down. It's totally up to you. So just like so. Now I'm going to fade off the candy corns down here, I think, just so you can see that it goes lighter. So there is your yellow parts. And now we're going to get out our orange brush. Again, this thing is stuck. The little cases that they come in, I have so much wear and tear on them that sometimes I wore the snap down. Okay, so we're gonna, almost forgot, gotta switch out your stencil. So there's that. Now we're gonna grab our middle part of our candy corn. I was just doing a Christmas project, so I have candy cane on my brain. All right, so we're just gonna line these up as best as you can. There we go. So that goes there. Okay. Then you're gonna go ahead and ink up your orange. Like so. I'm going to do it heavier on the top and kind of get lighter as I'm fading it out towards my bottom. Like so. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. Pretty cool. And now the most complicated part, not that it's complicated, it just depends on what you have available to you, is our tips of our candy corn. Do you guys even like candy corn? Candy corn is one of those candies people either absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. I love candy corn. Me and my youngest son love candy corn. Okay, so I'll just show you again. Same thing as we did with the highlights on our string of lights. Now where did I put my gel pen? Of course, because I need it. Okay, don't know where I put my gel pen. It fell on the floor, whatever. Okay, so you could obviously, with a pencil, go in there. Now, if you also have the inks that do really great on black paper, and you did this candy corn on that, that would look amazing as well. But you can just go ahead and use your colored pencil for the tip. Obviously, if you have a white ink, I do have one. I have the Lawn Fawn white ink. I think it's called Yeti. I just don't know where I put it. But I believe that is the pigment ink that you could also would do really, really well. And then again, like I said, a gel pen. And if I had one, I don't know where I put it. I have the cap. Where's the cap? I don't know where I put the actual pen. Let me see if I can grab another one. Okay, I have one here. There we go. We can do our gel pen in here as well. However you want to do it. If you have, a Posca pen, that should work really well. Where's my Posca pen? Of course, I didn't think to have that when I needed it, but here is a Posca pen. Let's see if it's primed. You can use Posca pen as well for that. If you guys have paint pens, whatever you have. And then also, like I said, the last thing you can also do is emboss that. So to emboss it, you would want a small little brush to go ahead and put on your watermark ink. So let me go grab that for you guys really quick. Okay, my watermark. Okay, so you have your watermark pad, and then you have your embossing powder. So what I need is my little embossing buddy, and then I also need my small brush. So let me just find my super tiny small brush that I like to use when I do embossing. So it's just this little tiny brush here. So, and what I'll do is I'm just going to hit up, and I actually technically should be doing it on this, not on through the stencil, but let's just do it like that. Where did I put that piece of tape? Go back down here, like so. Okay, and then you're going to take your, now you could just, you know, stamp through it, and I have done that before too, but this is a really, really sticky pad. If you guys have them, you know what I mean. So I like sometimes just to hit up in the areas that I want to do. I'm not going to do all these candy corns. I'm just going to hit up a few of them just so then you can see what it looks like if you were to emboss them as well. So, and it's going to give it a nice shine on there. You can emboss the whole entire candy corn too if you have all the colors. I mean, and that would be pretty cool on a background too. But I just embossed a few of them. And when I take it off, I know it's probably hard to see, but if the light catches it, you should be able to see parts where it's a little bit wet. And that is where you are going to go ahead. Let me grab a sheet of paper. Okay. That is where did I do it? Put it on like these areas here, and I'm just going to kind of shimmy it around. Oh, so much for having a piece of paper underneath. I still made a mess. Okay, and then you're going to tap it off. And then if you have a brush, any kind of brush, paintbrush, whatever, around, that is where you just want to get the excess off that shouldn't have gone where it should have. And then that is where it comes, you know, I should have used the embossing buddy a little bit better. But it also is where you can clean up anything that went astray, because you don't want it to emboss on the areas that you didn't actually put your, see this one, I don't know if it's showing on camera or not. This one actually went over the tip, so it doesn't even look like a pointy candy corn tip. So I'm just going to fix that with my brush a little bit. And that's what's really great about being able to have these little brushes to just do some little cleanups for you. Okay, and then I'm just going to go off camera here really quick. I don't believe my embossing pen will reach for the camera. But you can hear that I just turned it on. So I'm just heating up the pen, the heat gun. And then I can go ahead and emboss the tips of all my candy corns. Coming out pretty nicely. Let me just bring that back over. I do have a couple stragglers, But as you can see, here's the little triangle-y part of your candy corns with the white on it. Got a little globby there because I didn't brush well enough on that one. But if you just take a little bit more action to, you know, preparing everything properly, you can get some really pretty cute candy corns on there. And it is shiny, as you can see, it's shiny. And then you can always, like I said, go back in with your backgrounds. This would look really amazing on some black paper. And that is basically the candy corn builder, your planet builder, your leaf and acorn builder, and we did do one more, where did I? And our string of lights builder. And those are our newest builders for the stencils. Obviously, we got 2 for the fall, 1 for winter coming in, and this is because we just had a release of a space set, and this is just going to be amazing with that. So thank you for joining me. Sorry I made such a mess. And if you have any questions, again, and we do have other stencil builders, and we will have a special on those. And have a great day to the rest of your day, and stay crafty. Have a good one. Bye.